Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone, for those of us in the Eastern time zone, and certainly a good morning to all of our from Calgary joining us on this call. We're very excited that the 2014 BMO CHL NHL Top Prospects game is just a few days away. Puck drops at that event next Wednesday, January 15th in Calgary, hosted by the WHL's Calgary Hitmen. Earlier today, CHL proudly announced that the captains for the BMO CHL NHL Top Prospects game, Sam Reinhart of the Kootenay Ice will be captain for Team Cherry, and Aaron Ekblad of the Barrie Colts will be captain of Team Orr. We are pleased to be joined on the line with Sam and Aaron, who we will hear from a little bit later. Also on the line are our head coaches. Representing Team Cherry is Jim Poplinski, and with Orr is Tim Hunter. We're also on the line, we have Dan Marr from NHL Central Scouting. Just before we get started, events like this are not possible without the tremendous support of our partners. Certainly, new title partner BMO, who's been a proud partner of the CHL for more than 10 years, has graciously jumped on board for a title partnership of this event, which is now in its 19th year, where the CHL has showcased our top 40 prospects. Later this week, BMO will be announcing the winners of two contests, including the BMO Junior Reporters and BMO Kid Blue Line Experience, where some young Calgary residents will be given the opportunity to report on all of the exciting happenings of the game. Participants will receive $1,000 Canadian towards the BMO Intuition Registered Education Savings Plan, and will suit up with the teams and take part in the pre-game introduction and skate. And we're certainly excited for those opportunities on behalf of the participants, and certainly to BMO for their generous contributions. This time, I'd now like to hear from Team Cherry head coach Jim Poplinski. Jim,
thanks for
just talk to us about what it'll be like to work behind the bench, certainly with some of your former Calgary Flames teammates like Paul Reinhart and Mark Hunter.
Thanks, Paul, and thanks everybody from across the country for joining in. We very much appreciate your interest. My selfish motivation to become involved in this is simply around the game and the energy that youth brings to that, and to see these young gentlemen competing head to head is something that I'm quite interested in being a part of and enjoying. Secondly, we very much appreciate BMO and the support that they've and Paul talked about some of that, and we'll expand on that a little bit later. The reality of this game, and it's a real game, is that as a coach, we've only got a 1-hour practice on Monday and then a pregame skate on the Tuesday, to be with our team. So there is really going to be zero hockey instruction. And the beauty of that is that we've got essentially 2.5 full days to be around these players. And so Paul Reinhart and Mark Hunter and I really just hope to have two messages, and one is something that Paul and I certainly learned from Bob Johnson, and that is it's a great day for hockey. To be able to expand on some of our experiences, not just when we played, but 30 years later, we hope to share some of those learnings with these young gentlemen, with the hope that they enjoy the same sort of fruitful careers that the three of us had, and that they appreciate the game for what it is, and make sure that they respect it for that. So that would be one message, and the other would be that practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. And the fact that we only have a very limited amount of teams, that in the simple drills that we'll be doing to try to bring these young gentlemen together quickly, it will be about execution, and that's the thing that the three of us believe is paramount to becoming a great professional, whether it's National Hockey League or do afterwards. Lastly, I really love the people component of this game. You'll hear how BMO is participating in that in a greater way. We've got two great charities that will be the recipients of the Children's Cottage and the Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center. There are two organizations whose service delivery has been incredibly valuable in the province of Alberta over the last 20-plus years, and it's great learning for other organizations across the country, and at the end of the day, there will be significant dollars raised. very, very worthwhile organizations. Other than that, back to you, Paul. I'm looking forward to seeing the guys come in on Monday.
Great. Thanks, Jim. Head coach of Team Orr is Jim's Calgary Flames teammate, Tim Hunter, who will be coaching the game alongside further Calgary Flames alumni, including Mike Vernon and Joel Otto. Tim, thanks for joining us on the line. Tell us a little bit about what you're looking forward to out of this experience.
Well, firstly, thanks everyone for joining, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be in the same sentence with Bobby Orr, the Canadian Hockey League, the National Hockey League, and BMO. What a great partnership, and it's going to be a great game. I was at the game in Kelowna a couple of years ago, watched some great players, a spirited game. It's a competitive game. There was a fight in the game, I believe, so I'm looking forward to the competitive part of it. I had a great career in this Canadian Hockey League, spending 2 years in Seattle, developing some great relationships, creating a family, and I look forward to the relationships of the 3 days we'll have with the young hockey players here in Calgary and meeting up with my former teammates, Jim, Paul, Bernie, and Joel Otto, and Mark Hunter. It's a great tradition. We're going to have 25th anniversary of the Flames Stanley Cup here in '89 this year. And it'll be nice to see those guys and build some further relationships with these young gentlemen. That's what it boils down to, being able to perform and enjoy your environment. And hopefully we can't take ourselves too seriously and prepare these young gentlemen for a good game and give them some professional experience and some wisdom that we've gained along the way, and hopefully that will make them better hockey players and better people down the road. Again, thank you, and I appreciate your interest.
Thanks, Tim. Kootenay Ice captain Sam Reinhart will be captain of Team Cherry. His alternates will be Roland McEwen, the Kingston Frontenacs, and Ivan Barbashev of the Moncton Wildcats. Sam, we appreciate you joining on the call today. Brother played in this game a couple years ago, and your dad will be behind the bench for Team Cherry. What sort of things do you look forward to in the event?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a huge honor to, be named to the event. Being named captain is another accomplishment. So, honored to be, captain of Team Cherry. Looking forward to it. I've watched it the past few years. Obviously, like you said, my brother has played in the game, so I'm a little familiar with it. It's a good event. It seems like a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to it.
Barrie Colts captain Aaron Ekblad will be captain of Team Orr, alongside alternates Jake Virtanen of the host Calgary Hitmen and Nikolai Ehlers of the Halifax Mooseheads. Aaron, you got to play alongside Sam for Team Canada at the World Junior Championship, but this year you'll be opposite him. First chance you'll get to play against him on CHL ice anyhow. Just talk about your relationship with Sam and what you look forward to in this event.
Me and Sam, along with a lot of the other players that are going to be attending this game, have a special kind of bond. All of us are fighting to compete for top honors for this year's draft. So it's going to be an exciting time, and obviously to play against a good friend like Sam is nothing short of a spectacular experience. Really excited.
Thanks, Aaron. Dan, as I said off the top, this is the 19th year where the CHL has showcased its top 40 prospects eligible for the 2014 NHL draft that takes place in June in Philadelphia. Certainly a big event, and the CHL is thankful for our partnership with the NHL. From a central scouting perspective, what sort of things, what does this event mean, I guess, for teams and scouts in Calgary?
Thanks, Paul. Just real quick off the top, though, I do want to congratulate Jim and Tim on being named coach of the teams here. It's a tremendous opportunity for them to get to coach and interact with these future stars of our game, and also to Sam and Aaron on being named captain, because they are exceptional prospects and they are very deserving of this honor. The National Hockey League, our partnership with the CHL has always been strong, and it continues to grow. This game, it's always a tremendous advantage for the NHL personnel to be able to go to one spot, to get all the top players in the game and watch them play. The CHL has also introduced on and off ice testing at this event, which the NHL teams find that to be a very useful resource in their evaluation for the players. But what this game brings out, it's a different competition that's what is seen in league games.
Player conference, so I might get asked the question.
And it also allows the players to play a little bit outside the rules or the role that they typically play, or we see them play in their league games. So all in all, the competitiveness that the players bring to this event is appreciated by what we see.
Great. Thanks, Dan. Just maybe, Dan, one more for you. Just as far as if you can comment on Sam and Aaron, certainly last year at this time it was Nathan McKinnon was Team Cherry captain and Seth Jones was Team Orr captain, and now we see what they've accomplished in their rookie seasons in the NHL after certainly finishing their CHL careers on our biggest stage at the MasterCard Memorial Cup. Just some thoughts on Sam and Aaron.
Well, the one thing that our scouting staff likes with Sam is that he's an exceptional player with the puck. His offensive hockey sense, it's really kind of off the charts with his vision and his playmaking. He's ultra quick hands to go along with his excellent on-ice awareness. He just always knows where the puck is, and he always seems to be in the right place at the right time. And with Aaron, you're getting a building block for any team. He's a cornerstone on the defense. He plays the game with authority. He really skates and moves well for such a big player, and he also moves the puck very well. And today, the NHL game is skating and moving the puck. So both these players are going to be future stars in the National Hockey League in a very short time.
Thanks, Dan. Just before we open the line for questions, as Jim alluded to earlier on in the call, there will be a charitable component to this game with Team Cherry's Jim Poplinski playing for the Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center, while Tim Hunter will be representing Team Orr and the Children's Cottage Society of Calgary. BMO will certainly be making supporting donations to both teams' charities. Jim, is there anything you'd like to elaborate just on what we mean by playing for those charities?
Well, one of the things that I recall from this days and coming to Calgary in 1980 was the focus that Doc and their ownership of Doc and Harley Hotchkiss and the other four owners was the requirement to give back. And the Flames have carried on that tradition with the new ownership that has taken over the reins from Doc and Harley and BJ and Normy and Ralph Sturfield, and that same philosophy has filtered into the Calgary Hitmen. And so to have an event that always has got a signpost that says we need to be cognizant and willing to lend a hand in another way, to have this event support the Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center and to have BMO stand up unasked and equal match whatever it pays, just speaks to quality organizations and what I believe is important, and to have connect with the philosophy of the event and have full support from it speaks to what the Hockey League and the CHL wants to accomplish. BMO's kicking in a bunch of extra dough into the Children's Cottage, and we will be communicating that to the players so that they know that it is about them, but it's also about others as well.
Thanks very much, Jim. At this time, we'd like to invite questions from our media listening in on the lines. If you do have a question, feel free to direct it to any of our participants, including Coach Poplinski, Coach Hunter, our players Sam Reinhart, Aaron Ekblad, and certainly Dan Marr from NHL Central Scouting. And operator, I'll ask you to provide those instructions at this time.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ask a question, please signal by pressing star 1 on your telephone keypad. If you are using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. If you have signaled for a question prior to hearing these instructions on today's call, please repeat the process now by pressing star 1 again. We'll pause for just a moment to allow everyone an opportunity to signal for questions. And the first question comes from Patrick King from Sportsnet. Please go ahead.
Hi, yes, thank you. The first question is for Dan Marr. Given the time of year that this event comes around for NHL teams, how important is it as far as midterm meetings for NHL teams as they assemble their list?
A lot of the teams, they take advantage of this and they actually work their mid-season meetings around this game. In fact, a number of teams have made arrangements to hold their meetings right in Calgary. So it does factor into the process. It's become a very important resource and a tool for the NHL teams as time's gone on.
All right, guys, sorry to interrupt just before we go on. I'm not sure one of our speakers, Jim, Tim, or Sam, or Aaron, is the background noise there's interfering with some of our comments. If you can just mute questions directed to you.
Pardon for the interruption. This is the operator. I think the background noise comes from Sam Reynard's line.
Hey, Sam, if you just press mute until a question's your way.
Sorry?
Picking up some background noise on from your line. I don't know if there's a quieter spot you can go to, or just press mute on your cell phone until there's a question for you.
Okay, just going to quieter spot.
Okay, I think that's better. Patrick, if you have any more questions, you can continue.
Yes, just I guess another follow-up for Dan Marr. How much in the NHL Central Scouting, or from an NHL team standpoint, can a player perhaps raise or lower his stock with the performance in this game?
I don't think you'll find any skill will tell you that they would let one game dramatically influence their position on a player. But certainly a good performance bodes well. And if a player doesn't get put in the same circumstances to stand out, like it's not an opportunity where everyone's going to have their best game on that night. But the team scouts, their experience just kicks in here. They're well aware of what these players can bring to the table, and they're just looking to see the same game from them, or like I mentioned earlier, they do have an opportunity to show a little something different outside the role on their teams. And it's not going to impact strongly their any team's or scouts' impression on the players. But again, just the fact that they're recognized, these players are voted in by the NHL teams. This is not this team's not put together by the Canadian Hockey League or NHL Central Scouting. These are the players that the NHL teams voted to put into the game, and now they're going to get an opportunity to see them play.
Okay. Now my next question is for Jim Peplinski. Given that we've got a large amount of Calgary named alumni from the 1989 Stanley Cup winning team in particular, does it kind of feel like maybe a bit of a mini reunion for that 89 team?
Well, when I think of players who I've been close to from when I came here in 1980 until now, Tim Hunter is right at the top of that list. I'm not sure if Tim was in my first or second training camp, but I was in many different situations with him, and to be across the board from him and to have seen his progression is very gratifying, and to have an event where we can have some fun working against one another, but work together as well is really fulfilling. Paul Reinhardt was the best man at my wedding. I stood up at his wedding. Mike Vernon got lucky stopping a lot of pucks. I played with Joel Otto most of my career, and Mark Hunter, to reconnect with him, there are a few people in the game that I think are clear and concise as Mark. So get together and talk about how good we were back then is lots of fun, but frankly, have an opportunity to speak in the present about things that are important in individuals' lives, whether it be personal, business, or in this particular case, hockey, is just a wonderful learning experience that I'm looking forward to. And the Stanley Cup was a long time ago, and it is enjoyable to relive those memories, but it's arguably much more important to take those experiences and those learnings and try to share and learn from them going forward. And this event is something that brings that together in a strange sort of way and allows us to celebrate it and focus it and as I said, learn from it.
And I guess, Tim Hunter, if you could share your thoughts as well about reconnecting with some of your former teammates from the U19 team.
Well, I guess I can echo a lot of Jim's sentiments. What a tremendous group of people. When you win, you seem to remember the people you win with much more than the people that you just played with. There's a different connection when you win a championship. But a lot of us grew up together. Jim, myself, Joel Otto, Colin Patterson, all these guys grew up as young athletes. Cliff Fletcher was very patient with us, sprinkled in some great experience with Lanny and Doug Risebrow, and we all learned from them what great leaders they were. And I know we all became great leaders from that experience. And, again, I just hope we can impart some of that experience and wisdom on these young players and show them true professionalism and make their experience in Calgary a great one. I was born and raised in Calgary, and it's a great city. It's a great hockey town. The fans are very good here, and they're going to experience a great game and a good experience for these kids.
Now, another question for Tim. This event, obviously, it's in its 19th year, but before, if we were to look back, I guess, if this event had been around back during your junior days, what do you think maybe the top prospects game would have looked like in those days?
Well, you just look at in my mind, the best draft of history, 1979 draft, and look at the first round of that draft, and maybe you could sprinkle in a few of us other guys that were drafted later in that draft, but what a great game it would have been with the great players from the Portland Winterhawks, Dave Babbage, Keith Brown, Perry Turnbull, and the great players from the Brandon Wheat Kings, Brian Propp, Dave Allison. I could go on and on. Paul Reinhardt was a first-round draft pick that year. The players, I think it would have been a great experience, and if I had had a chance, it would have been great to be involved with it too. I know the players that spoke, Sam and Aaron, are excited and thrilled, and I would feel just the same.
Is it kind of humbling? I'm not sure if that's the word, but when you look and you've got a teammate, Paul Reinhardt, whose son is now going to be playing in this game.
Well, that's what happens with age. All our friends and former teammates are all having players that are drafted, and I've been to almost every draft in the past 17 years, and every year you see more and more of your former teammates and former NHLers having sons being drafted in the NHL. So it's great to see the pedigree of what an NHL player brings, a former NHL player brings to his family, and for sure some good father-son combinations now that have played in the NHL.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from Ryan Kennedy from the Hockey News. Please go ahead.
Thanks. This is a question for Sam Reinhart and Aaron Ekblad. You both are used to playing on big stages. You've just come back from the World Juniors. I was wondering if you could just reflect on the tournament and perhaps what you learned from those last two games that obviously didn't go the way you would have hoped.
You want to take this first, Sam? I guess I will. Obviously, we learned a lot of harsh lessons in that final game, or in the game before that against Finland. it's an unfortunate thing to happen, but I think to take out of it, the positives are, you don't want that ever to happen to you ever again. So I think you'll focus in the future on making sure that never happens and being prepared for those moments.
And Sam, your thoughts?
Sam, are you still on mute there? You can check your phone?
No, sorry, my phone's actually been cutting out the last couple of days. So can you please repeat the question? I just rejoined.
Sure, Sam. I was just asking what you took away from your experience at the World Juniors and maybe what lessons you learned from the end of the tournament when the past couple of games, obviously didn't go Canada's way.
Yeah, I definitely learned a lot. There's definitely a lot to take from it. Going into it, that the level of hockey is definitely different from, the everyday CHL level. So going over there, we really had to experience it for ourselves, what it takes to win that tournament. And I think most of the guys learned a lot. It's not a full season. There's many game sevens you have to win, to win that tournament. So and that format is definitely a difficult one, and I think we all learned a lot. And next year, if a lot of us are fortunate to come back, we're going to be looking for a better outcome.
Excellent. And one final question for Dan Marr. Just the way that the NHL has been recently, especially with the draft, it seems like positions are important right at the top, where we're seeing more centers taken number one overall than defensemen. Is this something that has come into consideration with central scouting, or is it still purely just who you would take number one?
Well, you're right. Each team approaches the draft with their own philosophy and sometimes with their own needs. And actually, just to back up to the previous question I was asked, this game does present the opportunity for a lot of general managers to attend and see a lot of these players for the first time. But when Central Scouting puts our list together, the teams don't want us to project by position or by team's needs. They want us to just present a list of players, rank them in order with the assets and attributes that they bring to a team and their skill sets.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from Mike Morelli from NHL.com. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot for taking the time to do this. First question for Sam. Sam, could you just talk a little bit about the influence of your brothers and the advice they might have given you, in your draft year here?
Yeah, they've both had a huge impact on my career so far. It's not as much talking about things and giving advice like that, but I've been fortunate enough to watch them both handle their draft years, and I learned a lot from kind of watching from a distance, seeing how they what they did and certain things they had to go through. So they definitely helped me quite a bit.
Thanks. And next question for Jim Peplinski. Jim, how much more bigger of an adjustment do you feel it is for these young players today, hoping to reach the NHL than it was for you, back in the day?
Oh gosh, that's a difficult question to give a useful response to from back in the day, because I'm a firm believer in the older we get, the better we were. And think back 30 years, I'm not sure how good my memory is. There's no question that the game is faster, and it's a different game than it was when I flew into Calgary in September 1980, when I played for the Toronto Marlboros in 77, 78, and 79. But I would say the one thing that is similar is when you're trying to decide whether somebody can compete, it's a lot better to see them against the best competition than average competition. And for these players, I'm strongly of the view that they have got much more experience on the world stage in stressful situations than what we ever had 30 years ago. So I'm not worried about them being nervous. What I would look for if I was trying to choose one of these young men for my organization is when they compete in a BMO Prospects game, when they compete in a playoff game, when they compete in a 2-2 game with 4 minutes left and the game means something, I would be looking to how they perform in those specific situations. And I think that assessment is the same today as it was 30 years ago. The difference is there's a lot more of those opportunities to watch people in now than there was when I played. There's World Juniors, there's under 17s, there's under 18s, there's the BMO Prospect game, and so there's more experience for these individuals, but there's also a more important time to perform, because that is when, if I was a scout, I would be looking at their performance, and the BMO Prospects game gives a scout a data point for how you compete against the best players of your age group at a moment in time.
Thanks, Jim. And the last question here for Tim Hunter. Tim, I know you worked a lot in management over the years. How important has the NHL draft become, with the structure of the salary cap and the need for talent without really sacrificing key players, on your, from your roster?
Well, you can't make a mistake nowadays and take a flyer on somebody with hopes that he's going to be a player. You have to be concise and precise on your decisions. The scouts and the management are putting things into a science and looking at the finite details of character, what makes up character, hockey sense, what makes that up, and down the line. And a lot of teams are targeting the key areas, and not just skill, but character and the hockey sense. And obviously, players in the draft, he's going to have enough skill and enough talent. So, again, there's no room for error, and it's very competitive. I'm glad the kids get the opportunities they do now compared to years ago, and there's more opportunity for the scouts and the management to make their evaluation.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from Sean Gibson. Please go ahead.
Hi, I got two questions. My first is for Tim Hunter. Being out in Barrie, we've obviously got our eyes on a couple of guys, especially, although you're working with lots of fantastic kids. Your thoughts on Aaron and Brendan and what you know about them, what you've seen?
Well, I've really only seen most of Aaron, excited about his size and his pedigree, playing both ends of the ice, and his ability to, use the offensive part of the game as well. And a lot of big men don't have that component in their game. I'm just pouring through some of the video in the last few days of most of the other players to try to get a handle on what they look like and their tendencies for our practice and, again, our pregame and then obviously the game.
Hans, you're watching video?
Did I say I was watching video?
I didn't. I thought we had an understanding here.
My next question is for Aaron. Aaron, Sean, the advance, and I'm just checking with you here. I was going through how many times it's been in Philly. This is the first time it's been in Philly, and I'm wondering, this is the same place that boots Santa Claus. If you get picked to the wrong team in the NHL draft, are you worried about the kind of backlash you're going to get? Have you thought about that? You may have been booed at other places, but this is Philly.
Aaron, you still on the line there?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't catch the question.
The NHL draft itself is going to be in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And this is that's a pretty riotous crowd. Have you thought about that? You or Sam could go to the wrong team and get booed out of the building. Have you thought about being drafted in Philly? It's the first draft in Philly. I know we've talked before about you don't usually let the crowd get to you, but
no, I have no problem about the crowd at all. I mean, I'm sure that'd be a great opportunity to get drafted by Philly or to any other team for that matter.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from James Emery from Calgary Sun. Please go ahead, sir.
Hi there. Thank you. First question is for Jim. Jim, you talked a little bit about not having much time to train or coach these players before a game. Does that pose a challenge for you as a coach to try and get as much out of these players as you can in this kind of one-game showcase? I know they have a lot of them, but or is that much of an issue with players of this caliber?
Well, the reality of the game is that you're not going to impact anybody from a skill level, from a system level. That's just not. It's just not in the cards. And so the objective that Paul and Mark and I have is to as we've talked a little bit about already, share some experience and try to reach these men on a different level than they would get every day in their normal hockey lives. You know, the reality is that there's 365 days in the year. You play 80 games, and the impact that you get from your coaching is but a very, very small amount of time in your total year. And it is then, by extension, up to you to make sure that you become the best you can be. And so there would be more of that sort of a discussion with individuals as opposed to you should hold your stick this way or that way. You should be here or there on the ice. Each one of these individuals is going to have a higher skill level than I ever had, but I've got some other experiences that hopefully would be perhaps even more valuable to them in hearing a different perspective than what they would hear from a coach who is on them for 60 or 70 or 80 games of the year. So a bunch of time on the ice, frankly, I think is a positive because they're getting information all the time on how to improve, how to train, how to eat, all of those sorts of things. And what they might not have as much of is, look, here's what I thought when I was 22 years old, or when I was 17 years old, or when I was 19 years old. And now, 30 years later, I wish I would have done more of this or less of that. And give that observation to an individual, and to the extent that they're open-minded enough to decide what can be helpful to them, I'm of the view that communication would be much, much more valuable than having a week of practice to try to get the most out of them from a technical or from a system perspective.
Thank you. I just have a follow-up for Sam, if he's still around. Just curious if getting to come into Calgary, given the history with the family, with Max and obviously your dad, if playing in Saddledome has any special meaning to you, or if that's just kind of another barn that you kind of come through with Kootenay.
Sam, you still there?
You know, ladies and gentlemen, all of this talk about the youth being really on their phones and things, I think these two gentlemen have demonstrated that they're focused on other things.
Sam, you on the line?
Yeah, sorry, it's kind of cutting in and out.
Sorry, Sam, I was just going to ask, for you to come into Calgary and the Saddledome, given the history with your family, with Max and your dad, does playing there have any special meaning to you in this game, or is it just kind of another barn that you come into?
No, it's definitely nice having it in Calgary. Obviously, with Max playing there quite a bit this year, and my dad, with the Flames a long time ago. But yeah, it's definitely exciting going in there, and it's always fun playing in the Saddledome.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question comes from Sean Kiley from Oshawa this week. Please go ahead.
Dan, question for you. You spoke earlier about Aaron and Sam, and a little bit in terms of your evaluation of them to this point. I'm just wondering if you can do the same for me on Michael Del Cole, and just share some of the thoughts and whatnot you have of him to this point, and then maybe how you project him out the rest of the season here.
Well, Michael Del Cole, from our opinion, is an NHL power forward in the making. He's one of the more consistent game in, game out performers in this draft class, and that every game you go to, you see the same game from him, the same work ethic, the same energy. He's only weighs around 180 pounds now. We're projecting when he gets gets stronger there, his stride's going to be that much stronger, and his speed's going to improve. But right now, he's a scoring machine out there. He's a very good playmaker, but he's got that finishing touch. So our projection is that he's going to creep into the mix where he's going to be up there for the top consideration.
Okay, thanks, Dan. I appreciate it.
Thank you. The next question comes from Lawrence Heinen from Canadian Press. Please go ahead.
Hi, this question's for the coaches. In previous years, Don Cherry and Bobby Orr had a bit of a friendly wager. Just wondering, Jim and Tim, if you guys have anything on the line, just a friendly wager or not.
Well, go ahead, Pep. I mean, personally, we haven't got that far yet, but I know personal pride is worth a lot more than any dough you can spend. So, that's enough for me. I mean.
Well, look, Tim's hit the nail on the head. There is a subtle difference. The winners team's charity gets 75% of the contribution, so that's going to be a sizable number with BMO coming in and matching what is the 50-50 in the building. And then the other side that Tim talks about, I would just hate in 20 years to hear every time I talk to Tim that he beat me at the BMO Prospects game. So I don't think you can put a number on that, and I got to figure out with Paul and with Mark how to make sure that's not happening.
And just to follow up, there's big charity aspects, so just wondering from each of you guys if you can just talk about your charities and how you pick them.
I can start. In fairness to Tim, when he was back in Calgary over 30 years ago, he was a huge supporter of an organization called 65 Years. And I don't know if that organization still exists, but he has just nicely moved back, and so we talked together about two charities that might participate in this in a big way and also benefit from it. And with living in Calgary since 1980, I was able to suggest these two, and Tim knows a number of the people in them and said, yes, let's go on it. So one is the Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center. It's run by a gentleman named Dean Voss, and it deals with the most severe of adolescent addiction issues. It just is, it's criminal to see what substance abuse does to youth, and Dean and his team just do an incredible job in the toughest of circumstances. This guy sends me emails at 4 o'clock in the morning when he's working through issues with people that come to the Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center, youth and families. So Tim and I both have got friends who have got this particular facility, and so that is close to our hearts. And then the Children's Cottage is an organization led by a lady named Patty Kilgallen, who I was involved in hiring back in 1986, and it's a crisis nursery that provides support to individuals and families who are in stressful situations, everything from a single parent who might be worn out and doesn't have the energy to look after their child or children and needs a few days. They go to the Children's Cottage, and the Children's Cottage happily takes the kids, and the parent gets some time to themselves to recover, provides resources for abuse and other unfortunate incidents, and has just been a wonderful organization in Calgary. The extension has gone, and the experience has moved across the country. So those are the two charities. 100% of the proceeds will be divided between the two, but once again, the winners charity gets 75%, and not to underestimate it, BMO is matching all the dollars that are raised. So we'll all want to be buying our 50-50 tickets, hope to win, and the charities will win as a result as well.
Perfect. And then to Aaron and Sam, last year in the game it was Seth against Nathan there, and Seth's team won 3-0. So Aaron, is there a little bit on your shoulders? You want to sort of follow that up with a good defensive showing in a game that a lot of times has a lot of offense?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I almost want to shut down Sam for sure. Should be a fun game going against him and making sure he doesn't score any goals. That's my main goal for right now. And then of course winning the game for sure. Having those bragging rights over him will be fun.
And then Sam too. Did you hear that question? I guess you guys obviously don't want to be shut out like Nathan McKinnon's team was last year.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, looking to come in and have some success. Don't think I've ever actually played against Aaron, so it's definitely going to be exciting. Might have to fight him one or two times during the game.
Have to fight him?
Did you say you have to fight him?
No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. The next question comes from Patrick King from Sportsnet. Please go ahead.
Oh, thank you. My question has been asked.
Excuse me, Patrick. Can you say
Sorry,
it again?
My question has been asked. So you can go to the person in line.
Thank you. Okay, next question from Nate Sager from Nate Sager Junior Hockey. Please go ahead.
For Aaron, I just wondered, obviously you just got back from Sweden. I just wondered how this game helps in terms of adjusting back to the OHL and working through for the rest of the season.
Of course, tonight I have a chance to get back in the swing of things against a pretty difficult team here. One of the obviously the best in CHL with the Erie Otters playing against Connor McDavid. It should be a fun way to get back into it for sure. Adjusting to the OHL play coming from such a high level tournament shouldn't be too difficult considering it's kind of a little bit of a step down. However, coming in and playing against such great players at the Prospects game should be an interesting challenge. Of course, adapting to the North American style again.
Yeah. How much you were able to get some? I assume you were able to get some rest before ahead of tonight's game, eh?
Yeah, of course. A solid 4-day rest. Nothing insurmountable.
And Sam, sort of similar question to you. Now that the World Juniors, is over and you're back with the ice, what's the adjustment like of getting comfortable with the WHL and then going right into this game against certain guys your own age or your peer group?
Yeah, you definitely have to get back into the swing of things, pretty quick. Definitely get adjusted. I've been lucky enough to, be given a couple of days off to kind of regroup for the second half of the season. So, obviously, it starts back up again very fast. So, this game's definitely exciting to be a part of, and looking forward to it.
All right. And so how do you sort of process the whole experience, and what I mean, not obviously the team didn't get what it had hoped for, but I mean, there must be some good things you took out of that you're going to apply to the rest of the season.
You definitely have to take out the best. Some good things. Wherever you can. I felt. I played strong tournaments, so I definitely am. Trying to carry that confidence back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if there are any additional questions, please press star 1 at this time. And we have a question from Jeremy Freeborn from Hockey Magazine Calgary. Please go ahead.
You bet. Thank you ever so much. My question is going to be for Sam. Sam, if you can, just talk a little bit about growing up in the Reinhardt household, and what did you learn specifically from your father that you think helped you get to where you are today?
Definitely have taken a lot from my dad. It's not as much one in particular thing he said to me. It's more, for the three of us. After each game, car rides home. Just giving some advice. Things to work on, things we did well. So it's definitely been a long teaching process from his end, and he's definitely benefited all of our careers.
Thank you ever so much.
Yep.
Thank you. And we have a follow-up question from Patrick King from Sportsnet. Please go ahead, Patrick.
Yes, question for Aaron. What do you think the challenge is going to be like going up against Sam after having seen and gone up against him in practice?
Sam is obviously a very special player. I hate to say it because we're good friends, but he's a great player, and playing against him in practice, seeing how smart he is with the puck and the kind of hockey IQ he has in game and in practice and all that kind of stuff. So going against him in this game is going to be a special challenge for me, and I'm very excited to play against such a high quality and high intensity and all that kind of stuff player.
How thankful are you that Sam's in another league? You don't see him more often.
Sorry, what was the question there? Didn't hear
I was saying, how thankful are you, given the skill that Sam has, that you don't see him more often in another league?
The type of player I am and the person I am is I like to be challenged. So, to be honest, I'd rather have him in the league and have him as a challenge. But of course, there's a lot of challenges within the OHL, and hopefully, maybe our two teams will be at the Memorial Cup this year, and we'll have that opportunity to play against each other.
And for Sam, just the same question: what's the challenge going to be like going up against Aaron?
Pardon for the interruption, Sam. His line was he hung up his line, or the line dropped. So he probably will dial back soon.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we have a question from Lawrence Heinen from Canadian Press. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I guess Aaron and maybe Sam comes back on, but both of the coaches talked about them wanting to make it a special time for you and your teammates. But for you guys, being around some players who won a Stanley Cup back in '89, what's that experience going to be like for you to sort of take everything you can from their experiences?
It's always wonderful when you have the opportunity to learn from past NHL players and of course NHL players that are playing right now. All the lessons they have are pretty special because they've done it all. They've won the Stanley Cups. They've been through long playoff runs in the NHL. They've played with teams, sometimes different teams, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of great lessons that you can take from guys like that who have done it all.
Thanks. I guess Sam's not back on yet?
No. Gentlemen, there are no further questions on the phone lines. Please continue.
Okay, I think with that we'll wrap up the call. A reminder to everyone that tickets are still available for this great event next Wednesday, January 15th at the Saddle Dome. For more ticket information, please visit online, bmotopprospects.ca. Certainly thanks once again to our title sponsor, BMO, to our host, the Calgary Hitmen, our coaches and our players, congratulations, and we look forward to an outstanding event next week in Calgary. Thanks very much, everyone, for your time.